morning, everyone. We're here for the criminal status motion docket this morning. We have Mr. Ramos here. We'll take your cases first.
Good morning. I have two on the docket. The first one is Manuel Ramos, 20 CT 2524. He's present before the court. Because I've been going back and forth with Mr. Stewart for a resolution on this case. In his review, apparently there's a second video or a separate video that he does not have in his possession that he's requesting from the sheriff's office before he decides on final disposition. So I believe we're going to ask for a continuance so we can make a full forward review of the case before we dispose of the case.
Okay.
I'm going to ask to put this on a pre-trial conference. Apparently, this case, my client was taken to the hospital. They were filled with exercises that were performed in the hospital. The video of those exercises are not in custody of the state attorney's office.
Okay.
We have the initial video, but apparently there's a separate video. That's what he wants to review before he makes a final decision.
All right.
I don't need to speak on Mr. Stewart's behalf, but that's where this came came out. The notes reflect that.
Yeah, he mentioned we were waiting for evidence.
Okay. All right. So you have no objection?
No objection. All right. And we'll see if we have to see.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. June 9th, 9 o'clock?
I can imagine it should be filed with the state.
All right. June 9th at 9 o'clock then.
You have time for yours and wait in the hall, okay? You just go right over here.
Thank you, Mr. Ramos.
The next case here is Mont Robert Reed, 21 MM 8. Mr. Reed's in Michigan. He's not right here. Similar situation, however, going back and forth on negotiations. I received an amended offer yesterday, and obviously I can't get the paperwork in time. I asked to put this on the June 9th date. This is the January arrest of this year.
Okay.
Not that old. I was hoping to resolve it today, but
Any objection?
No objection.
All right. June 9th at 9 o'clock.
have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Verderamo. You too. Thank you, Ms. Santini. All right. Let me make a second here. All right, let me go to Zoom since we're waiting on this arm priester. All right, let me go to Mr. Beckham. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Justin Beckham on behalf of Gail Crossan, who is present on the Zoom as well, and we had reset the case today to take the plea. I filed the fingerprint card with the court because last time we were here that had not been done correctly, I don't think so. Everything should be filed and ready to go today, Judge.
All right, let's take a look.
Judge, I did review everything that's been said. I did review the terms and everything appeared to be accurate.
Okay.
And I believe I saw fingerprints too.
Yes, the fingerprints were filed on May 5th. All right, and it looks like the terms of the agreement are an adjudication of guilt, $1,000 fine, 12 months of probation. The defendant may apply for early termination after serving 9 months, provided all conditions have been satisfactorily met. There will be a 6-month driver's license revocation. The defendant must complete the appropriate DUI school, substance abuse evaluation, follow all recommendations, subject to random testing at their own expense. There would be a no alcohol provision, meaning the defendant cannot consume alcohol while on probation, cannot have alcohol in their residence, cannot possess alcohol, cannot go anywhere that primarily sells alcohol, such as bars, taverns, saloons, or packaged liquor stores. There would be a 10-day vehicle impoundment, a 1-year ignition interlock, 50 hours of community service, must complete 1 victim impact panel. All court costs, including costs of prosecution, would be imposed. Are those terms correct, Ms. Karimi?
Yes,
Your Honor, would the defendant have an opportunity to try to buy out the community service hours?
I have no objection.
All right. Since the state has no objection, the defendant may buy out the community service hours at the rate of $10 per hour.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. And let me just check one other thing. Mr. Beckham, will you stipulate to venue and a factual basis for the plea in absentia?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll accept the plea in absentia, find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in the defendant's best interest, adjudicate them guilty and sentence them as previously stated. The defendant will need to check in with probation, let's say by the end of Monday at 5 o'clock.
Judge, one thing regarding that, I'd like if Ms. Crossan can unmute herself for a minute, because maybe she can help me answer the question, and maybe she can help the court and the state. As far as checking into probation, I want to make sure the court has Ms. Crossan's current address correct on the record. Gail, can you give your address, please?
Oh, sorry. 12654 Southwest 191 Terrace, Miami, Florida 33177.
Okay, good. So just to verify, Your Honor.
That's the address we have on file. Did you hear me? That is the address we have on file.
Okay, good, Judge. And so the reason I wanted to make sure it's updated is when she checks into probation, I'm not sure how the court is instructing people at this time, whether they check in via phone, email, or in person, because obviously she can't drive over to where probation will be located outside of Miami-Dade County as of today. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as how she's going to check into probation and how she's going to complete probation. She lives in Miami and she's under a no drive order for quite some time. So I just want to point that all out to the court. I don't want there to be any violations or anything that happens incorrectly.
And I think in a sense, mail packet
It's really, I can't really hear, Judge. It's really, really hard for me to hear.
Hang on, Mr. Beckham. We have a representative from County Probation here. Go ahead, Mr. Hendricks.
Clean absentia, we find out, and then out of county and state will be appropriate mail in the packets.
Do they need to call the county probation office?
I think as long as it's on the packet, the contact information, defendant, we don't have it, we'll reach out to the attorney and say, what is it? So it's, but yeah, we usually mail them the packet and tell them how to pull it.
She doesn't hear anything in like a week.
I would just say that your client should call county probation by the end of business Monday, just to make sure they have all of her correct information and
Yes,
that
Judge.
satisfy her check-in.
Can I have a number, Judge, that I can give her that's accurate? Because I don't want to play games with the numbers and stuff.
Well, you can go on the court's website and there's a link to the county probation page.
Okay, Judge, I'll do that. No problem.
Okay. All right. Anything else then?
Nothing on this case, Your Honor.
Check in by the end of business Monday at 5. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Beckham. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Give me one moment to review that. All right, looks good. Thanks, Paul. All right, let me go to Mr. Gorman.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Judge, we have two cases on the docket this morning. First on Mejia.
All right, case number 20 CT 2582.
Judge, we've tried to work out a resolution. We've been unsuccessful. We're ready for trial.
State ready?
Judge, we're gonna need a new pre-trial date. We can't probably this is next week.
Do you know what your availability is in June? The week of, we've got trial dates June 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
I don't, Judge,
Okay. All right. All right, so it sounds like we need to go to the next pretrial and then we'll know everyone's witness availability. All right, let's continue to June 9th at 9 o'clock.
I know Mr. Quinn knows this, but for the record, the offer is no longer available in this case. We may
We reject the offer.
There you go. All right.
Judge, next we have Larry Catran. This is defense's motion to early terminate. This is 20 CT 407. Judge, Mr. Catran reached his halfway point on the 10th of May, and it's my understanding he's completed all outstanding conditions and is up to date on all fines, fees, and costs. So this time we moved to early terminate.
All right. Date.
and I confirmed all of that with Mr. Hendricks yesterday, and we have no objection.
All right, motion for early termination of probation is granted. Mr. Gorman, you'll email a proposed order for that?
Yes, Judge, we'll submit it to you in chambers.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you, Mr. Gorman. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge. You as well.
Thank you. We go to Mr. Hopkins.
Your Honor, good morning.
Good morning.
Your Honor, I have Savannah Woeste, WOESTE 20 CT 169. It's a motion to terminate probation.
Okay.
She is eligible on May 20th, so she's a few days early, but I'm requesting the court to consider entering an order effective May 20th because that's what the plea agreement was for her eligibility date. She's completed all terms and conditions. She was a minor at the time of the arrest, so she definitely has her parents involved aside from the probation conditions. I believe probation will confirm to you because they have to our office that she has indeed completed all conditions and has been in compliance. So I would ask the court to consider and grant an order effective May 20th.
All right. Mr. Hendricks, has Ms. Woeste completed all conditions?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What's the state's position?
I don't object with the stipulation that Mr. Hopkins given.
Okay. All right. Motion for termination of probation is granted. It shall be effective May 20th.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll submit an order.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Hopkins.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Ms. Armpriester. Good morning.
I have two ready to enter a plea. One is required expansion. I think we could call her Yesenia Escolia, 21 144.
All right.
She's part of the coaching catch. Your Honor, we'd like to withdraw our previously entered plea of not guilty and enter a plea of no contest. She'll be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to credit time served, court cost prosecution and defense, and there is no trespass on any land of the Seminole tribe. And Your Honor, we are asking for the, if possible, to convert some of the court fees to community service.
Any objection to that?
Would Your Honor like me to prepare a pardon?
Do we need an order for that, or can we put that in the judgment and sentence? Okay. All right, so it'd be an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, all court costs, including costs of prosecution, public defender fees, no trespass on Seminole tribe lands, and the defendant may convert the financial obligations to community service.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, will you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, will you state your name?
Yesenia Martha Espia,
And your date of birth?
7/18/1978.
And did you hear the terms of the agreement placed on the record?
Yes,
Do you have any questions about them? Do you want to accept them? Are you pleading guilty or no contest? I have a plea form in front of me. Is this your signature on this form? And by signing it, you've indicated that you've read it or it's been explained to you. Did you understand all of the rights listed on this form? And you understand that you're waiving those rights by entering your plea today? Do you understand your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen? Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication? Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness? Are you satisfied with your attorney's advice?
Sorry, I was thinking.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Has she done everything that you've requested? Any additional questions?
No.
All right, Ms. Armbruster, will you stipulate to venue and a factual basis for the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll accept the plea, find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to credit for time served, impose all court costs, including costs of prosecution and public defender fees. I'll give you 90 days to pay those. If you need more time than that, you'll have to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days. But I'm also going to order that your eligible costs and fees may be converted to financial obligations, or the financial obligations may be converted to community service hours, which may be completed at the rate of 1 hour for every $10. You need to put that in there. Okay. And no trespass at all ends of Seminole Tribe. I'm gonna have you step over here to be fingerprinted. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Your Honor, I don't see if the Spanish interpreter back into the box of Colorado. We could call 20 and then 622 to be visiting with the Queen of Sentra.
I wanna call some people that are in the courtroom.
I don't believe I represent them. I've called through,
Okay.
gone through. Until I leave.
Which case was it?
20 MM 622. I did e-file and sent to DuPont, Madam State, to Queen of Sentra.
Okay.
I just reviewed Queen of Sentra. It doesn't have language about the concept being an enforceable crime. It also says 525 community service hours instead of 25, and it doesn't have the trespass at the end of the county.
Ms. Armpriester, do you think you could get an amended abstention or at least an affidavit with corrections and information that Ms. Creamy has noted?
I absolutely can, and I am very sorry for that.
I'll note, Ms. Armpriester, that I think this is the second or third time that the Public Defender's Office has submitted a plea in absentia for an enhanceable crime in which the enhanceableness of the crime is not in the plea in absentia.
I can only take responsibility for this one, and that was an oversight, because the one I had written after doing it with Ms. Creamy I lost, so I rushed it. And
Okay.
I will fall on my sword on that, but this was rushed. And then my client had hand surgery, which I have to paperwork for, so it was a little bit rushed on her end, but we wanted to comply.
Do you think you can have that done by June 10th?
Absolutely, if not sooner, and again, my apologies.
Any objection to continuing to June 10th?
Yeah.
All right.
So enhanceability language of the crime and the correct hours and no trespass.
All right, so we'll continue it to June 10th at 9 o'clock for a plea in absentia.
And would the court accept an affidavit or an all-new PIA or?
Ms. Greeny?
Either one. The affidavits one too.
Okay.
And it references the amendments. It references the original.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. We have the Spanish interpreter back.
Great. So we just want Mr. Hector from Luis Constantino.
What was the last name?
Continent Alvarado, 2 last names, 20 MS65.
Okay.
The fine $100. Yeah, judge, the offer is withhold $100 fine. Will be a trade plea of no contest. My client has read and signed case management form. I explained it to him in English.
Sir, will you raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you give shall be the truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Will you state your name?
Hector Fontanes Alvarado.
Hector Fontanes Alvarado.
And sir, what's your date of birth?
Septiembre 4, 1956.
September the 4th, 1956.
And did you hear the terms of the offer placed on the record?
Can you repeat it?
Yes, the offer to resolve your case was a withhold of adjudication, a $100 fine. All court costs, including costs of prosecution and public defender fees, would be imposed. I'd give you 90 days to pay those costs and fines. If you needed more time than that, you'd have to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days.
Yes.
Do you have any questions about that offer?
No.
Do you want to accept it?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I have a plea form in front of me. Is this your signature on this form?
Yes.
And by signing it, you've indicated that you've read it, what's been explained to you.
Yes.
Did you understand all of the rights listed on this form?
Yes.
And you understand that you're waiving those rights by entering your plea today?
Yes.
Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness?
No.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's advice?
Yes.
Has she done everything that you've requested?
Yes.
Ms. Creamy, any additional questions from you?
No.
Ms. Armpriester, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis for the plea?
Yes.
Right, sir, I'll accept your plea. Find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Withhold adjudication, impose a $100 fine, all court costs, including costs of prosecution and public defender fees, and give you 90 days to pay. I'm gonna have you step right over here to be fingerprinted. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Ms. Armpriester, you said you don't have anyone else in the courtroom? All right, let me call a couple of people that are in the courtroom. Omar Cruz Espinoza, case number 21CT986. And I believe Mr. Espinoza requires the services of the court interpreter. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Mr. Espinoza, I believe you're here to enter a plea, is that correct?
Yes.
What were the terms of the offer, Ms. Creamy?
An adjudication of guilt of $150 fine plus all costs.
All right. Mr. Espinoza, have you had an opportunity to read a plea form yet?
Yes.
And have you also had an opportunity to read a waiver of counsel form?
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to sign those forms?
Yes.
All right. Will you raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Give me one moment. All right, will you state your name for the record?
Omar Cruz Espinoza.
And your date of birth?
Enero 11, 1980. January 11th, 1980.
Did you have any questions about the offer?
No. No.
Do you want to accept it?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Right. And we discussed yesterday your right to an attorney, and that if you cannot afford to hire one, I would appoint one to represent you. I have a waiver of counsel form in front of me. Is this your signature on this form?
I can see. Oh, I can't see. Yes.
And by signing it, you've indicated that you've read it or it's been explained to you?
Yes.
And also by signing it, you're indicating that you're waiving your right to an attorney today?
Yes, sir.
I also have a plea form in front of me. Is this your signature on this form?
Yes.
And by signing the plea form, you've indicated that you've read it or it's been explained to you?
Yes.
Did you understand all of the rights listed on this form?
Yes.
And you understand that you're waiving those rights by entering your plea today?
Yes.
You understand that your plea may be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Yes.
You are. What are you under the influence of?
¿Cómo se todos los efectos de qué? O si he tomado, no entendí. Oh, if I was been drinking? I couldn't understand. The last question. The first, the last question.
Let me repeat.
Permítame repetir.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Sorry. Sorry.
That's all right. Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness?
No. No.
Any additional questions from you, Ms. Freeman? All right. Give me one moment. All right, I reviewed the court file. I find that venue is proper in Collier County and there's a factual basis for your plea. I'll accept your plea, find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudicate you guilty, impose a fine of $150, all court costs, including costs of prosecution, and I'll give you 90 days to pay those costs and fines. If you need more time than that, you'll have to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days. I'm gonna have you step right over here to be fingerprinted. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Expired tag or some shit going on, dude. So, it's this form and this form, maybe we should address it.
Right, absolutely. Let me go to, do I have Linda Marie Hart present?
Come on up, ma'am.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name? All right, case number 20MM1941. Ms. Hart, back in February, I made a temporary, can you hear me okay? Back in February, I made a temporary appointment of the public defender. However, I don't see that you ever filled out an application for them. Okay, do you know when you sent that in? Do you see an application on file? Okay. Do you have a copy of it? Okay. Well, the clerk hasn't received it. So what I'd like for you to do is go across the hall where it says customer service, tell them you need to fill out the application for the public defender, complete that form, turn it in, and then come back to the courtroom, okay? All right, thank you, Ms. Hart. We'll see you back in a few minutes. We'll recall this. All right. Did he try this case? 21 from Lee County? Hart? No. Hart? Okay, so we're not showing you. Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah, she's coming back. Before we call that one, we've got Good morning, Mr. Lucarelli. Can you hear me?
I can, Your Honor, and I'll use my car.
Okay.
The car, but
Looks like you've got one case on the docket.
yes, Your Honor. Wayne Gagnon, 22 mm 378. It's a motion to return property, which are his weapons, which were turned in when he was arrested for domestic violence.
All right.
I don't know if the state has an objection to it, but we've got a list of the weapons there, Judge, and the only document we have for 2 of the pistols, there was some safety inspections done on those, and I will get those to the court if need be. But I don't know if the state's got an objection. I know that typically Judge Provost would ask for some proof of ownership. These are older weapons. And my client is with me here to answer any of the court's questions or the state's questions.
All right. Mr. Lucarelli, on your notice of hearing, I don't see that the sheriff's office was noticed.
You're right about that, Judge. Okay.
That's what I said. Oh, I didn't notice in the motion.
Ordered in, Judge, yeah, and Maria did not notice them.
Let me look at my calendar here. How did this case resolve?
I think we did not file it.
Okay, I see. Notice of no information. So, sorry, I'm just looking to see where maybe we could, if I have something available. You want to special set it or just put it on another motion docket? Okay.
When's your next available date, Judge?
So my next motion date is June 8th.
Okay.
At 9 o'clock. Do you think you could get an amended motion and notice filed so the sheriff's office is on notice?
Absolutely, Judge.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. We'll go to June 8th at 9 o'clock for a hearing on the motion.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lucarelli.
Bye. Thank you, Judge. Bye-bye.
All right. Any questions on that one, Paul? All right. Will you add a case to the docket? Okay. 21 CT 945. Emerio Pinero Torres. 945, yes. Pinero. Pinero. Yes. Good morning, sir. Will you state your name?
I speak a little bit of some.
Okay, just a minute. Did you already see this?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Will you tell me your name?
Emerio Pinero Torres.
All right, this is case number 21 CT 945. Mr. Pinero, yesterday you were scheduled for a court date in which you did not appear. Because you failed to appear, the state requested a bench warrant. That request was granted. So I issued a bench warrant for your arrest yesterday. Any particular reason why you didn't appear yesterday?
La razón es que me presenté es porque el policía puso la dirección que no estaba correcta.
Well, the reason why I didn't appear was because the police officer wrote the incorrect address.
En esa dirección yo hace 2 años que vivía ahí.
I used to live at that address, but about 2 years ago.
Entonces el problema es que con el problema de inmigración y todo lo que yo tengo para sacar la licencia, yo tengo que sacar un permiso todos los años.
So the problem that I have with immigration, the thing is that I need, in order to get my license, I have to get a permit every year.
They supposed ellos tienen que mandarme a mí el permiso de trabajo y tengo que esperar ese tiempo hasta que me llegue o pueda sacar la licencia.
So they're supposed to send me the work permit, and I'm supposed to wait that long in order to get it, and then I would be able to apply for a license.
Yo estoy retirado y tengo trabajo.
So I am already retired, I'm not working.
Yo iba a ponerme la vacuna de coronavirus. En ese momento me paró y eso, pero
I was on my way to get my coronavirus vaccine, and that's when he pulled me over.
That I needed to do it because yo soy un hombre enfermo, que tengo que ir al médico, tengo varios turnos.
So I needed to do it because I am a sick man, and I always have several medical appointments.
Tuve la necesidad de manejar ese día.
And on that day, I needed to drive.
No tenía nadie que me llevara.
I didn't have anybody to drive me over there.
Entonces el problema es de la carta, que como la carta, la nota que me mandaron, que tenía que ver al señor B, no llegó a la dirección donde en realidad yo vivo.
So therefore, the letter from the judge indicating my court date, it never got to where I was living.
Fue a otra dirección diferente.
So he went to a different address.
What is your current?
Yo responsablemente vine hoy a ver qué estaba pasando.
So being the responsible person that I am, I decided to come here today.
That's why that happened.
That's why this happened.
What is your current address?
¿Cuál es su dirección actual?
La dirección es a 5337 Carlton Street.
It's 5337 Carlton Street,
Naples, Florida, 34113.
Naples, Florida, 34113.
Well, that is the address that we have on record for you.
Bueno, esa es la dirección que nosotros tenemos aquí en el expediente.
Bueno, pero ellos pusieron Gilchrist.
Yeah, but they used Gilchrist.
Ahí fue donde mandaron la nota de él.
And that's where they sent the letter from him.
Well, that's not what the court file shows.
No, eso no es lo que dice.
State, what's your position on this?
La muchacha allí en yo fui a verla a ella allí en el ticket y ella me dijo que había mandado la nota a esta dirección.
That's what the lady told me at the ticket window. She told me that they had sent the letter to this one.
The notice does show up 5250 Gilbert Street. I
Sí,
don't know what's
esa
one
sería la diferencia aquí en casa donde yo 50 Gilchrist Street.
No, pero yo vivo en Carlton, mira la dirección.
No, but I live on Carlton. Look at the address.
La dirección aquí de la licencia nueva ahora que la saqué.
And I have the address here in my new license, which I just got.
Okay. State, what's your position on this case?
Judge, I don't have an objection to setting aside the bench warrant. The defendant did reinstate his license. However, I think because of the failing to pay traffic fines and different things, effective June 9th, his license will be revoked for 5 years as a habitual traffic offender.
Cancelado por 5 años. I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything after his license is going to be canceled for 5 years and then what?
As of June 9th, as a habitual traffic offender.
Hasta el 9 de junio y lo han dictaminado un delincuente de tránsito habitual.
Pero si es que yo tengo
Sir, let her finish first. Thank you.
Once, if the court sets aside the bench warrant, the state would drop the case.
Orden de
It's now
arresto,
very now.
estaría retiraría el caso en contra de este cargo en particular.
All right. Or do you want me to set aside the bench warrant?
¿Usted quiere que yo retire la orden o elimine la orden de arresto en su contra?
Sí, yo quisiera que hiciera porque, no sé.
Yes, I would like to. I would like you to. I mean, can you imagine?
Yo hice lo correcto.
I did the right thing.
Driving without a valid license is not the right thing to do, sir.
No es lo correcto.
Ok, no es correcto, pero yo tengo el proceso de inmigración, ese es el problema.
Well, it's not correct, but I'm in the middle of
Soy un hombre
my
enfermo.
immigration case. That's the problem.
Y soy un hombre enfermo, tengo que ir al médico de vez en cuando, pero ese día no tenía nadie que me llevara.
I am a sick man. I have to go to the doctor every once in a while. And on that particular day, I didn't have anybody to drive me there.
Pero si él ve todo el tiempo que no tengo licencia, que no me había nunca cogido para nada, nunca me había manejado más hasta que ese día se me presentó el
But
problema.
I've been without, if you notice, I've been without a license for a long time, and I have not driven. And that day in particular, I just had that particular problem.
Yo entiendo que no estaba correcto, pero estaba enfermo, tenía que ir al médico.
I understand that it was not the right thing to do, but I was sick and I needed to go to the doctor.
Y no tengo a nadie que me llevara.
And I didn't have anybody to drive me.
Llega para allá, I'm sorry about it. I need.
Sorry, you want to interpret, señor, habla español.
I'm sorry, dile que diga que me perdone, que yo.
Tell him I'm sorry and to please forgive me.
Traté.
I tried.
All right, sir, I'm going to set aside the bench warrant that was issued on May 13th, 2021. We're going to give you a copy of this order. That way, if you get stopped by law enforcement, you can show it to them so that you won't get arrested.
Le digo que muchas gracias y que creo que entendió bien mi problema.
Thank you very much, and I think you understood my problems very well.
Y a la señorita también, que muchas gracias.
And I also want to say thank you very much to the lady over here.
All right, Ms. Karimi, do you have an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the state would announce a null process 21 CT 945.
All right, sir, the state has dropped the charge against you. Let me advise you that you should probably go to the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles office to find out why your driver's license that you recently obtained may be suspended again in the coming weeks. That way you can resolve that, and so that doesn't happen, if that's possible. Thank you, sir. You're free to go.
Okay, gracias. Dile que voy a ir a
Yeah, tell him that I'm going to go to the DMV.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait for a copy.
No.
Right. All right, let me call Ms. Hart back up. Linda Hart. All right. Ms. Hart, did you get the application completed? All right, and I'm showing that. Where did Ms. Armpriester go? Ms. Armpriester out there?
Yeah. That's our picture.
All right. All right. Ms. Armpriester, this is Linda Hart, case number 20MM1941. She applied for the public defender and was approved. What would you like to do today?
Your Honor, what's the posture of where we're at now?
Well, my guess is that you need discovery.
Yes, I just didn't know if this was set for today or how.
Oh, today it was set for us.
Okay, if, I mean, it would make, what should charge with?
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if it was to a non-jury or a trial. Either way, continuance is the request.
She's charged with one count of use of a fraudulently obtained or false receipt
We'll take a free trial.
and a petty theft, 2 or more.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Any objections? All right, we're going to continue your case to June 10th at 9 o'clock. Make sure to stay in contact with Ms. Armpriester or whoever your assigned public defender is before that next court date, okay? All right. 9 o'clock. We're going to give you a notice. As of right now, it'll be via Zoom.
Did you that application contact information? Okay, I'll be in touch with you. Step out. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Mr. McGann, I see you in the courtroom.
Good morning. We got Michael Thomas.
Okay. Good morning. All right, this is case number 21CT80. Good morning.
Good morning. He's gonna enter an office to resolve it.
Okay. What are the terms?
Limited adjudication time served in all causes.
That's correct.
All right. Sir, will you raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Will you state your name
Michael Joseph Thomas,
and your date of birth?
02/04/1968.
All right. And did you hear the terms of the offer to resolve your case placed on the record by your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about it?
No, Your Honor.
Do you want to accept it?
Yes, it is.
You can just sign the people.
Go ahead. Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
The contest, Your Honor.
I have a plea form in front of you. Is this your signature on this form?
Yes, sir.
And by signing it, you've indicated that you've read it or it's been explained to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand all of the rights listed on this form?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you're waiving those rights by entering your plea today?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that your plea may be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's advice?
Yes, I am.
Has he done everything that you've requested?
Yes.
Do you understand that driving while license suspended or revoked is an enhanceable offense, meaning you could be facing a higher, if convicted of this crime in the future, you could be facing higher fines, higher penalties, more jail time, or a possible felony conviction?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. Do you also understand that depending on the number of times you have been convicted of driving while license suspended, your license could be revoked by the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles as a habitual offender for 5 years or more?
I do.
And knowing that, you still wish to enter your plea?
Yes.
All right. Any additional questions? No. Mr. McGann, will you stipulate to venue and a factual basis for the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll accept the plea, find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served, impose all court costs, including costs of prosecution. Do you need some time to pay?
Could you have like 90 days? It's got other costs. I just got out of jail.
All right. All right. I'll give you 90 days to pay. If you need more time than that, you'll need to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, sir. We're going to have you step over here to be fingerprinted. This is adjudication of guilt. Okay, looks good. Okay. All right, Mr. McGann, did you have another case with us today?
Got 3 other cases.
Okay. All right, are you ready to call those?
Oh, yes.
Are they in the court?
I do not believe so.
Okay, well, give me one moment and I'll
No worries.
come back to you, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Let me go, let me go to Zoom. I've got Mr. Moffett with us on Zoom. Good morning.
Morning, Judge. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine, Judge. Tim Moffett on behalf of Claire Larson, case number 20 CT 2525. I filed the plea in absentia. You should have it. I also emailed it to your office.
I do have it.
Would you ready to go over the terms, Judge?
Yes. Are you ready, Paula? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Judge, she's going to plead no contest. She'll be adjudicated guilty. Fine of $500, 12 months of probation. She can early term after 9 months. Attend and complete DUI school, substance abuse evaluation, follow recommendations, random drug and alcohol testing, 50 hours of community service, attend and complete the victim impact panel presentation, driver's license suspension for 12 months. We ask that Your Honor allow her to obtain or maintain her work permit or business purpose permit. No possession, consumption of alcohol. 10-day vehicle impoundment or immobilization unless waived by order of the court. Credit for time served and all costs.
All right. Ms. Creamy, have you had an opportunity to review the plea in absentia forms?
Yes, I did, Judge, and it could be accurate.
All right. Mr. Moffett, will you stipulate to venue and a factual basis for the plea in absentia?
I do, sir.
All right, I'll accept the plea in absentia, find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in the defendant's best interest, adjudicate the defendant guilty, impose a fine of $500, place the defendant on probation for a period of 12 months. The defendant may apply for early termination after serving 9 months, provided all conditions have been satisfactorily met. The defendant must complete the appropriate DUI school, undergo a substance abuse evaluation, and follow all recommendations. The defendant will be subject to random testing at his own expense, 50 hours of community service, complete 1 victim impact panel. The defendant's driver's license shall be revoked for a period of 12 months. However, the court has no objection to the defendant obtaining a work permit. No possession or consumption of alcohol, meaning the defendant cannot possess alcohol while on probation, cannot consume alcohol, cannot have alcohol in their home, cannot go anywhere that primarily sells alcohol, such as bars, taverns, saloons, or packaged liquor stores. There will be a 10-day vehicle impoundment. The defendant shall receive credit for time served. All court costs shall be imposed, as well as cost of prosecution. I believe there is a civil traffic infraction that was consolidated. What would you like to do with that, Mr. Moffett?
Ask that it be merged and dismissed, Judge.
Any objection? All right. the traffic infraction shall be merged and dismissed. All right, thank you, Mr. Moffett. Oh, wait, let's say defendant to report to probation by the end of business Monday.
Yes, Judge, she'll call in today, and then if she can't get through, then she'll call on Monday.
Okay, very good. All right,
Thank you,
thanks, Mr. Moffett. Have a nice weekend.
You as well, sir. Thank you.
All right, give me one moment to review that. You know you have substance abuse evaluation on there twice. Correct. I don't see that. Okay, looks good. All right. Let's go to the courtroom.
Nance?
All right, give me one moment. Case number 20 CT 1890. All right, Mr. Nance, you had court on May 10th,
Yes, sir.
and you did not appear.
Yes, sir.
Bench warrant was issued, and then I set aside the bench warrant after receiving your email.
Yes, sir.
You know that you don't have a public defender assigned to you.
Yeah, they called me the day of my court date after the hearing. Told me I wasn't eligible for one.
May.
Is on, please, Drew?
In speaking with Mr. Nance, I believe perhaps a judicial review of his affidavit may be appropriate.
All right. I believe I set it for a review of it today. Did you get your driver's license reinstated?
After I got in a written arrest for driving unsuspended, I did go to the DMV and I paid off all the fines and they did reinstate it. But the first court date I had for the situation, the day after that court date is when they suspended it for 5 years. I got it reinstated on November 20th of 2020. And then December 10th, I believe, is when they resuspended it.
Yeah, I see why they suspended it. You had an unknowingly driving while license suspended and 20 TR 18746 that you didn't pay.
Yes.
So that caused you to be adjudicated guilty. Can you pay the remaining balance in that case today?
Remaining balance on what, sir?
And your traffic infraction from August, 20 TR 18746.
I was under the impression that I had paid everything off. That was the reason why they gave me my license back. I'm not aware of any fines that I owe.
Looks like you were on a payment plan but didn't finish it. Hang on one second. Yeah, $208 were sent to collections. happened. When did you say you got your license reinstated?
November 20th of 2020, and then got everything settled.
So then the D6 was issued in this case, which caused your license to be suspended again. So can you pay that today?
That's most certainly can, yes.
Have you talked to an attorney about your driving license predicament?
No, sir. I tried to get a public defender, but I wasn't eligible.
We did attempt to talk, Judge, to discuss which is why I felt he should have qualified. I'm not sure if there's a mistake in this.
I don't know how much the public defender can advise on traffic cases. All right, let's take a look at your application. All right, what's your current, will you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Do you solemnly swear all the current testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, will you state your name again for the record
Brett Nance,
and your date of birth?
2/10/95.
All right, what's your current income?
Average about 6 to 8 a week, 6 to 800 a week.
What do you average per month? Let's go monthly.
I'm sorry?
What do you average per month?
Per month, I would say anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000.
All right. Do you have any money in the bank?
A little bit, yes, sir.
How much do you have?
800.
Do you have any other assets?
No, sir.
All right. Do you own any homes?
No, sir.
Any property?
No, sir.
No cars, no boats, no RVs? Any savings accounts?
It's depleted.
Okay. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds? All right. What are your monthly expenses?
Rent, which is 900. Phone bill, which is 112. Just groceries, and other than that, just
I'm gonna need dollar amounts.
groceries. I'd probably spend a month, I would say about 400 a month in groceries.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Where's all your money going?
I'm not sure. Just recreation. I like to go out and have fun.
All right, well, you may have to stop having fun and pay for an attorney. I find the defendant not to qualify for the public defender. Okay. Is there an offer to resolve this case?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is to plea as charged. It would be a withhold and all bonus.
I'm sorry?
Court costs and costs of prosecution. I'd give you 90 days to pay those costs and fines. If you wanted more time than that, you'd have to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days.
90 days.
Do you want to accept that?
Yes.
All right, we're going to give you a plea form and a waiver of counsel form to read, and then we'll call you back. Okay? I don't need to do an order, do I? Finding him not indigent?
No.
Okay. All right. All right, let's.
Sir.
Good morning. Will you tell me your name?
Nicholas Ayer. Good morning.
Good morning. What was the last name?
Ayer.
Thank you. All right, with Ms. Armpriester, are you covering for Mr. Wilson?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wilson will no longer be assigned to this track. I believe those cases will soon be mine.
Okay.
I emailed Ms. Creamy during the court. I doubt she got it though. Is there an offer for this case?
I think that's why Mr. Ahern's here.
Well, we were going to do a plea in absentia, and I was going to facilitate that, but he showed up today. So we would just like to take care of it.
He lives in Pinellas and he's been waiting for a plea absentia for months, which is why he came. So the offer is an adjudication and all costs.
We will be accepting that if I can just fill out the paperwork.
Have you already read the plea form?
I know, our judge.
All right. Sir, will you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. Will you state your name again for the record
Nicholas Ayer.
and your date of birth?
6/22/1991.
All right. And did you hear the offer placed on the record by the state to resolve your case?
I did not.
It's an adjudication of guilt. All costs, including cost of prosecution and public defender fees, would be imposed. I'll give you 90 days to pay those costs. If you needed more time than that, you'd have to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any
Yes,
questions about that offer?
No, Your Honor.
Do you want to accept it?
Yes, maybe.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Have you read a plea form or has one been explained to you?
Yes.
It was explained to you, but yeah, you can actually sign it.
Right here.
Yeah. I'll take a look.
And did you understand all of the rights listed on this form?
Yes.
You understand that you're waiving your rights by entering your plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that your plea may be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness?
No.
Are you satisfied with the advice of your attorneys?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have they done everything you requested?
Well,
Other than maybe send you the plea and absentia forms?
I tried to, with David Wilson, I tried to file indigency. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I had a warrant issued out. I don't know what happened if he never showed up for court, because I wasn't in Pinellas County, he was supposed to. Is it judge? Am I supposed to tell him?
I'm just letting you know.
I guess he doesn't.
He doesn't work with our office anymore, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm not sure what took place or why a warrant was issued. I have no trouble getting in touch with Mr. Anyway when I attempted, and he is here today.
I can't remember why a bench warrant was issued.
One public defender, I'm not sure who, announced in court in March that they hadn't had any contact with the defendant. We set it on an in-person docket.
That was it.
Okay.
Okay, and then it was set aside. The bench warrant was set aside. Okay. So is there anything remaining that Ms. Armpriester needs to do for you?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so you still want to accept the plea?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Any additional questions, Ms. Green?
Mayor.
Ms. Armpriester, will you stipulate to venue and a factual basis for the plea?
So stipulated as to both counts.
All right, sir, I'll accept your plea. Find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudicate you guilty, impose all court costs, including costs of prosecution and public defender fees, and give you 90 days to pay. I'll have you step right over here to be fingerprinted.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Good morning.
This is, Your Honor, Ms. Ariane Ujima Hudson, 20 CT 1772, 20 CT 1773, 21 CT 774, 21 CT 1406. Your Honor, I was only appointed to 21 CT 744. Ms. Hudson went across the hall to customer service this morning, and I do believe she has a defender appointed on all cases. If at this time I may request a continuance to a pre-trial, my best guess is that we're going to try to resolve these globally.
All right, I do see that Ms. Hudson completed an application. She was approved for the public defender on all cases. I believe there's a state's motion that's pending.
Yes, Judge, I filed a motion to revoke bond in 21 CT 744, 20 CT 1773, 20 CT 1772. That motion is set for a hearing today. I also emailed Ms. Armpriester on Sunday night the offer for all 4 of the cases. And I alerted Ms. Armpriester that I would be filing a motion to revoke bond.
And we're in motion to revoke bond, being that I wasn't on the cases, I don't have the offers committed to memory. We're going to go forward with the motion.
I can put the offers on the record if that's what the defense is requesting.
Go ahead.
In 20 CT 1773, the charge is no valid driver's license. The offer is an adjudication, court costs, and cost of prosecution. In 20 CT 1772, the charge is DWSR. The offer is a withhold and court cost of prosecution. In 21 CT 774, the charge is, 744. The charge is DWSR. The offer is an adjudication of guilt, 6 months of probation, special condition that she do 10 days in jail with credit for time served. That could be served on a weekend work or weekend lockdown program. Probation shall term upon completion of the jail time for cost of prosecution. And on her newest case, 21 CT 1046, it's a driving with a suspended license. The offer is an adjudication of guilt, 6 months of probation, special condition that she served 20 days in jail with credit for time served. That may be served on a weekend work or weekend lockdown program. Probation shall term upon completion of the jail time, and that would run concurrent with 21 CT 744 and all costs.
May I have a moment to confer with my client?
You may. All right. We'll recall that case or those cases. Good morning. Will you tell me your name?
Jake Perot, V as in Victor, ERROT.
All right. You've got Ms. Armpriester. Let me have you take a seat, okay, until she comes back in. Do I have Miguel Mariquin? Okay.
You want to advise on the interpreter?
All right, let me go back to Mr. McGann.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
So I have 3 cases.
Okay.
First one is Martinez Renteria.
What's the last name? Under Martinez?
Yeah.
Okay. 20 CT 1507.
And I did just file like a motion to suppress earlier this morning.
Okay, I see it.
Based on the officer not observing Mr. Martinez running right behind the wheel and no other witnesses
All right.
being able to testify in the misdemeanor arrest rule. So we would have to continue that so I can schedule that for a hearing.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor, I'd ask for a pre-trial.
All right. We will set it for June 9th at 9 a.m. Mr. McGann, if you'll coordinate a time for a hearing on the motion to suppress and get that scheduled before the pretrial.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The other case I have, he has two of them. The last name is Dume, first name Miller, 20 CT 841 20 666.
Okay.
And in Mr. Dume's case, we had continued it a couple times for different judges to sign orders withdrawing, or basically withdrawing his payment of the unknowingly suspended licenses that habitualized them. And Judge Crown signed the one for Collier yesterday, and the other judges in Leon County signed them last week.
Okay.
So we just need to get the DMV that paperwork in order for the habitual traffic offender thing to go away. So I know his case is probably one of the older cases and whatnot. It's just need to get his driver's license back, and then this one would have an effect if he resolves it.
So you're requesting a continuance?
Yes, sir.
How much time do you need?
If we could honestly like skip one cycle so that way I don't have to come back. And I could always have it moved up like once the DMV clears everything.
All right, we'll continue both cases to pretrial conference on July 14th at 9 o'clock. I'm gonna have you mark final continuance. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you want to do a plea and abstention on that date, that'll
Yeah,
be fine.
that's all right.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
And did you have one more, please?
Yes, sir. So the last name is Jean Mary, first name Rose, 20 2039.
Okay.
And there's been an issue with her, obviously getting money and signing up for the diversion. She's missed a couple times. So we would ask for the final continuance for her to either sign up or resolve her case without the diversion program.
Is diversion still being offered?
I think so, yes. But Mr. McGann, if your client can't afford it, there is a way that she can potentially pay a reduced fee. You just have to go through that process with Mr. Cruz.
All right. It's been difficult in the past, so I kind of just tell these people just get the ball money together.
Usually paying is easier because the alternative is we have to do community service hours,
Yeah.
but if she's interested in the null process, then that's something worth exploring.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll make it get on.
Any objection to a continuance?
No, no.
All right, we're going to go to June 9th at 9 o'clock.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McGann. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Thank
Perfect.
you. Okay, let's go to Miguel Mariquin, 21 CT 962.
That was June 9th.
Okay,
Last one, June 9th.
June 9th, yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, will you state your name?
Miguel Angel Marroquin Nicolas.
All right.
Judge, I think we had court yesterday and failed to appear.
Tenía una cita en el tribunal ayer y no compareció.
So,
Yes.
And I had told the court that I filed a motion to revoke bond
Y luego presentó una petición para cancelar la fianza
because he picked up new charges in Lee County
debido a que él ha sido acusado de nuevos delitos en el condado de Lee.
after bonding out of this case.
Después de salir libre bajo fianza por este caso. Yes.
And
Yes.
the court allowed me to set my motion this morning.
Y su señoría me permite presentar la petición esta mañana.
all right, sir, the state has filed a motion to revoke your bond.
Para cancelar su fianza.
If I revoke your bond, I'll be remanding you to the custody of the sheriff's office. Would you like to find out if there's an offer to resolve your case?
Yes.
Judge, the offer is an adjudication of guilt 6 months of probation, special condition that he served 10 days in jail, which can be served either in the weekend work or weekend lockdown program, court costs or cost prosecution.
Sir, do you understand that you have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, I would appoint one to represent you?
I prefer a public defender.
Okay. Do you want me to make an appointment of the public defender?
Yes.
All right, I'll make a temporary appointment of the public defender. This is Ms. Armpriester. She's an attorney with the Public Defender's Office.
Your Honor, I previously encouraged this individual to go to customer service and fill out the application for agency. If we could continue this to next pre-trial, unless he can find a certain state's offer. Or not even.
We're also here for arraignment, Ms. Armpriester. All right, thank you. All right, and then we're here also on the motion to revoke bond.
Your Honor, in light of the defendant being here, I would ask that the court deny the state's motion to revoke bond. I'm not sure the circumstances surrounding his failure to appear yesterday, he didn't appear today.
The motion to revoke bond is because he was arrested on new charges in Lee County for driving under the influence.
Yes, Your Honor, I did hear the state say that I was getting there. I believe Lee County set an appropriate bond that he was able to post. He is presumed innocent, and I would request that he not be remanded into custody. We're still on the heels of the pandemic. He works. He won't be able to pay his bills or provide for his family on the inside.
Well, a condition of his bond is that he not pick up new charges.
Yes, Your Honor, that is a condition of his bond. However, he is presumed innocent, he's not been convicted, and the court does have discretion not to put him in jail even if he violates conditions of pretrial release.
Anything from you, Ms. Greene?
Judge, he picked up the new charge in Lee County, I believe 11 days after he was arrested for the charges in Collier County. Lee County, it was a DUI crash. So a similar driving offense. The booking report attached to my motion indicates that he had a blood alcohol level of 257. That was hospital blood. Or medical blood.
But that's not the case for your report today, that's the Lee County case.
That's correct, that is the Lee County case. Judge, again, our argument is that he's out on bond for a driving offense and picks up an even more serious driving offense once that involves a crash.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
A more serious driving offense that involves a crash. Sorry, I'm not missing that.
No, I know. Well, you were going a little fast, that's what I'm sorry. I understand.
And I see on his driving record that he was also convicted of operating a motor vehicle without a driver's license back in July of last year.
Your Honor, the only other argument I have is, being that I'm only temporarily appointed now, should he be remanded into custody? Never mind, I withdraw that.
All right, state's motion to revoke bond is granted. The defendant shall be held no bond. I'll remand him to the custody of the sheriff's office at this time.
Do you have a moment?
It's up to the deputy.
May I ask something?
I just need to inform him to apply for
Yo
counsel.
solamente le quería informar que solicite.
You have more?
I didn't apply as soon as you can. I already knew application.
Que tengo solicite lo antes posible, esa es mi tarjeta para que se me diga. Do I have another court date? Mañana.
No, they're-
Oh, I have another court date on Monday.
Okay, they're going to arrest you, so you'll appear from jail.
Ellos lo van a arrestar y van a ir a la casa, entonces va a comparecer el lunes.
I'll set this case for the next pretrial conference, which will be June 10th at 9 a.m. Non-jury? It'll be June 14th at 9 a.m.
What was this individual's name, please?
Miguel Martin.
Ms. Armbruster, if you want this free time off for 10 days, you want to set it on at 2:15?
I'm still trying to find him on the document, sorry.
If your document was printed yesterday, we'll see that.
21 CT 962.
Thanks. 10 days straight now?
Yes, adjudication 10 days. All right. I'm gonna put that order now.
Okay.
Ms. Hudson would like to accept the state's offer as well.
All right, we're gonna go to, sorry, tell me your name again.
This is Mr. Burrow,
Thank you.
case 20 MM
Burrow.
494.
Burrow with a B. All right, what are we doing, Ms. Armbruster?
Judge, this was inadvertently set for plea. It was supposed to be continued to the next pretrial. I don't know how it got set for plea and then he didn't show up, which was not his fault.
What's the last name again?
Burrow.
B-E-R-R-O-T.
Thank you.
Jake Gerard Thomas.
Mine has indicated today was set for plea.
It was set for plea, but it shouldn't have been. I didn't set it. My colleague did. And that was a mistake.
Okay. What are you requesting?
That it be continued to the next pretrial, which would have been my request last week at our pretrial conference.
For what purpose?
The alleged victim, my investigator's been unable to meet with her. She's had incredibly invasive oral surgery, having all of her upper teeth removed, and this week she's having her lower teeth removed.
Ms. Armbruster, I see on April 9th, maybe Ms. Creamy, you can take a look at your notes also, that it's kind of confusing from the court file. Looks like a motion to lift no contact was denied.
It was.
But there's also a note in here that a motion to lift no contact order was granted. Do you see that?
Because the contact with the minor child was allowed via Children's Advocacy Center.
Okay,
Which adopt is part of the DCF case plan.
okay. And then it says in here, defense attorney to prepare order, but I don't see that an order was ever prepared.
That must have been during our purge, and I will.
You might make a note of that and send over.
May I
send
make
an-
a carbon order, or would you prefer a typed order?
I would prefer a typed one so the state can review it before I sign it. And you can send that to my judicial assistant.
Yes.
All right, any objection to a continuance?
No, Judge, can we put it on a DD pretrial?
Yes. So that would be June 7th at 10 a.m. You'll get a copy.
Give you notice over it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
You'll get your mirrors right there from that judge.
This is yours.
What's your name?
Sarah.
Judge, Ms. Copel is present.
What's your match?
Are you Karen?
I'm here.
No,
I'm good. How are you?
this is bad guy, just an all way up on my playground.
Yes, Your Honor, Ms. Copel relies on alternative transportation and they took her to the wrong place. She's present with other counsel that went and got her and brought her here. That's why she's tardy this morning.
Okay.
Judge, we'd like to withdraw our previously entered plea of not guilty in exchange for a plea of no contest. Ms. Copel will be adjudicated guilty. She'll pay court costs, cost of prosecution, and defense. We would ask for 90 days to pay.
That's correct, Judge.
Is there a no trespass order?
I think one has already been issued by the
Okay.
sheriff's office.
Right. She said by the sheriff's office.
On what address?
For the case that we're resolving today, Shops of Eagle Creek, 1270 Tamiami Trail East.
12704.
Oh, yes, sorry.
12704? And I'm getting that in the judgment? No?
You don't want it as part of the judgment, do you? No. Okay. Ma'am, will you raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Will you state your name?
Sarah Elizabeth Appelli.
All right, Ms. Popelli, what's your date of birth?
10/4/58.
All right, did you hear the terms of the agreement placed on the record by the state attorney?
I think I understood.
All right, do you have any questions about it?
No, no.
Do you want to accept it?
Yes,
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
no contest.
I have a plea form in front of me. Is this your signature on this form?
Yes, sir.
And by signing it, you've indicated that you've read it or it's been explained to you?
Yes.
Did you understand all of the rights listed on this form? You think you do? Do I need to go over those with you?
I know, I do.
You know, we're not going to a trial, confronting witnesses, bringing our own witnesses. You're not going to testify or remain silent. You're waiving all those rights.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, so you're waiving your rights today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you understand that your plea may be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Just psychotropic medication for prescription medication for mental illness.
Okay. Does that medication help you understand what's happening here today?
Exactly.
Okay. And you understand everything that's going on?
Yes.
Okay. Are you satisfied with your attorney's advice?
Yes.
Have they done everything that you've requested?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any additional questions?
Very.
All right. Ms. Armpriester, will you stipulate to venue and a factual basis for the plea?
Yes, I will.
All right, Ms. Popelli, I'll accept your plea, find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest, adjudicate you guilty, impose all court costs, including cost of prosecution and public defender fees, give you 90 days to pay. If you need more time than that, you'll have to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna have you step over here to be fingerprinted. Thank you. Let's go to Mr. Nance. His adjudication costs or withhold? Withhold.
Withholding all costs.
You might have to give a copy to the jail for that. Mr. Nance, did we put you under oath?
Yeah.
Okay, please state your name again
Brett Nance,
and your date of birth.
February 10th, 1995.
And did you have an opportunity to read these forms?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about them?
No, sir.
And the offer to resolve your case today was a withhold of adjudication, all court costs, including costs of prosecution. I'd give you 90 days to pay those costs. If you needed more time than that, you have to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about that offer?
No, sir.
Do you want to accept it?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I have a waiver of counsel form in front of me. Is this your signature on this form?
Yes, sir.
And by signing it, you've indicated that you've read it or it's been explained to you.
Yes, sir.
And also, by signing it, you understand that you have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford to hire one, I would appoint one to represent you. We already know that I determined that you don't qualify for the public defender. And by signing it, you've indicated that you're waiving your right to an attorney.
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on this plea form?
Yes, sir.
And by signing it, you've indicated that you've read it or it's been explained to you.
Yes, sir.
Did you understand all of the rights listed on this form?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you're waiving those rights by entering your plea today?
Yes, sir.
You understand that your plea may be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication? Ever been diagnosed of a mental illness?
No, sir.
Do you understand that driving while license suspended or revoked is an enhanceable offense, meaning if you're convicted of this crime in the future, you could be facing higher fines, higher penalties, more jail time, or a possible felony conviction? Do you also understand that even though you're receiving a withhold of adjudication on this case, it's up to the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles to determine whether or not your license should be suspended pursuant to this conviction, or whether you should be designated as a habitual offender?
Yes, sir.
All right. And knowing that, you still wish to enter your plea? Any additional questions, Ms. Green? Give me one moment. All right, I've reviewed the court file. I find that venue is proper in Collier County and there's a factual basis for your plea. I'll accept your plea, find it knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Withhold adjudication, impose all court costs, including costs of prosecution, will be 90 days to pay. I'll have you step right over here to be fingerprinted. Thank you, Mr. Nance. Good luck to you. All right, Ms. Armpriest, are you ready for Ms. Hudson?
Yes, Your Honor, will be accepting also.
In all four cases?
Yes. No contest.
All right, and those case numbers again for the record are 20 CT 1773, 20 CT 1772, 21 CT 744, and 21 CT 1046. Ms. Hudson, will you raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you give shall be the truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Can you state your name and your date of birth?
98.
All right. Ms. Hudson, I'm gonna go over the terms of the offers again. In case number 20 CT 1773, the offer was an adjudication of guilt off court costs, including costs of prosecution and public defender fees. I'll give you 90 days to pay on all cases, okay? So if you need more time than that, you'll have to work out a payment arrangement with the clerk prior to the end of 90 days. In case number 20 CT 1772 would be a withhold of adjudication, court costs, and cost of prosecution. In case number 21 CT 744 would be an adjudication of guilt, 6 months of probation. As a condition of probation, you must serve 10 days in the Collier County Jail with credit for time served. You may do that on the weekend work program, weekend lockdown, or straight time. Probation shall automatically terminate upon the successful completion of all conditions. In case number 21 CT 10446 would be an adjudication of guilt, 6 months of probation. As a condition of probation, you must serve 20 days of jail with credit for time served. That may be served on the weekend work program, weekend lockdown, or straight time. The jail condition shall be concurrent to the jail condition in 21 CT 744, and the probation shall be concurrent with probation in 21 CT 744. The probation in that case shall automatically terminate upon the successful completion of all conditions. Are those the offers you wish to accept in all 4 cases? Do you have any questions about them? Are you pleading guilty or no contest? Yeah, 20 CT 1772. Fine. All right. I have a plea form in front of me. Is this your signature on this form? And by signing it, you've indicated that you've read it or it's been explained to you? Did you understand all of the rights listed on this form? Do you understand that you're waiving your rights by entering your pleas today? Is anyone forcing you to enter these pleas? Are you entering them because you believe they're in your best interest? Did I ask you if you understand you're waiving your rights that are listed on this plea form? All right, and you understand that that's what's happening today? Do you understand that your pleas may be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen? Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication? Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness? All right, are you currently taking any medication for that? Is that diagnosis affecting your ability to understand what's happening here today? Are you satisfied with your attorney's advice? Has she done everything that you've requested? Do you understand that driving while license suspended or revoked is an enhanceable offense, meaning if you're convicted of this crime in the future, you could be facing higher fines, higher penalties, more jail time, or a possible felony conviction? Do you also understand that the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, because you're being adjudicated guilty for driving while license suspended, could revoke your driver's license privileges for a period of 5 years and habitualize you? Yes. And knowing that, you still wish to enter your pleas? Okay, any additional questions?
No.
I did. All right. Ms. Armpriester, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis for the pleas in all 4 cases?
Yes, Judge.
All right, ma'am, I'll accept your pleas in all 4 cases, find them knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. In 20 CT 773, I'll adjudicate you guilty, impose all court costs, including costs of prosecution. Give you 90 days to pay. In case number 20 CT 1772, I'll withhold adjudication, impose all court costs, including costs of prosecution and public defender fees. Give you 90 days to pay. In case number 21 CT 744, I'll adjudicate you guilty, place you on probation for a period of 6 months.
I'm sorry?
I don't see that in
You don't see what? Which one?
6 months of probation.
6 months and you didn't pay it?
Anyway, I'm going to place you on probation for a period of 6 months. As a condition of probation, you must complete 10 days jail with credit for time served. You may do that on the weekend work program, weekend lockdown, and straight time. Probation shall automatically terminate upon the successful completion of all conditions. I don't see 10 days jail on that one. On 744, 21 CT 744. Yes. All right. You're to report to probation today before you leave the courthouse. And then in case number 21 CP 1046, please go ahead. I'll adjudicate you guilty, place you on probation for a period of 6 months. As a condition of probation, you must complete 20 days of jail with credit for time served. That may be served on the weekend work program, weekend lockdown, or straight time. Probation shall automatically terminate upon the completion of all conditions. The jail sentence and the probation sentence shall run concurrent with the probation and jail sentence in case number 21 CT 744. You're to report to probation on that case today before you leave the courthouse. Probation is located right around the corner by the vending machines. I'm going to have you step over here and be fingerprinted. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, you all look good.
I'm standing.
Better start getting used to being back in the courtroom.
And probably too. But I know I will be fully 100%. I'm not 2 weeks on my friend's job.
I am today. All right. Madam Clerk, let me know when you're ready.
Hey, Sam.
Gateway.
That's okay. All right. Vyashlo Artsipenko.
I'm sorry, one more time.
No. 16 CT 595.
Oh, my motion to reissue the bench warrant.
Yes. And looks like they have the public defender.
Judge, the state is asking the court to reissue the bench warrant in this case. The original one was set at no bond. We would ask the court to continue to set it at no bond. And as Mr. Stewart outlined in the motion, the state can represent that this case is still prosecutable, and we're asking again to reissue the warrant.
Any response?
Case number 36.
16 CT 595.
Your Honor, I don't have any information, so this time I don't have any information.
Okay. All right. Motion to reissue the bench warrant is granted.
Judge, I will be coming to the office later with it.
All right.
I have to go into Word Merge and get the generated and get the old one and do a bunch of amending.
Okay. I probably won't be here later this afternoon, but you can drop it off and I'll do it first thing.
Leave it out. You should leave it out.
Okay. And write down who it is. All right, next case is Cameron Davis, 20 CT 1405 with Ms. Armpriester.
Yes, Judge. This is not my case. I will be representing the clean essential paperwork. The client did reach out to his prior two attorneys. It's not his fault. We'll get it done. I will work with the court's parameters if I can have another continuance.
Ms. Freeman?
No objection.
All right, June 10th at 9 o'clock. Next is, did we cover Ronald Emanuel, Ms. Armpriester?
We did not, Judge.
All right, Ronald Emanuel, 19 MM 1855.
Judge, this is a mandatory appearance. I have attempted to reach out to him. He usually just shows up at my office. He was showing up before, and then when I think I finally made it clear to him that he didn't have to come to Zoom court, but now I haven't heard from him. If the court is inclined to issue a bench warrant, I would ask him if he, with an ROR for a new court date. He does speak Creole, so there's a bit of a language issue. So I would ask the court not issue a bench warrant. However, he was set for mandatory presence.
Ms. Creamy?
Judge, I would ask for a bench warrant. He's previously had one back in December of 2020 with a $500 bond.
He also had one back in July of 2020, and that one was an ROR.
Hello, is he not in custody? Because I don't know that he's supposed, unless that got changed at first. Oh, yes. So when he got arrested on the bench warrant, that was $500. The judge at first appearance changed it to an ROR.
Who's with that?
Well, it's public record. It was Judge Brown. Docket line 146.
What date is that?
January 28th, 2021.
I might have been covering that. Sounds familiar.
So I would ask for 1,000, Judge.
So then ask for an ROR with the court date.
All right, bench warrant, $1,000 bond. Joshua Morris, 20 MM 1819.
Judge, he's in custody. The jail has canceled my appointment with him thrice in the last 10 days. And
Under isolation.
I don't know, because every time I get somewhat of a different answer. Mr. Stewart and the mental health court unit is willing to accept him on these charges despite that he has a pending knee issue. So I need to speak with him. I can't get into the jail yet. I've heard sometime in the next week or two we might be able to, but I've made the appointment, and at the last minute, the jail sends me an email that it's been canceled by them. So I'm not sure what to do other than represent my troubles to the court.
What, is there a reason why we set it for today's date?
I did not set it for today. I'm not sure why. It's fine to set it on the next DD pre-trial, and if I can set up something sooner, I'll add him to the 215 docket.
I think it was just a status.
Was it a status to set it for trial?
No, Mr. Stewart's notes don't say that. They say, set for status today, email Ms. Armpriester a resolution that includes mental health court and essentially a time served offer on a violation of state probation out of the league. Nothing about a trial.
And I just can't go over all that with him. But he does have an attorney out of me now because they did file the warrant. So there's just a lot of information you gotta get to him.
Any objection to continuing it?
No.
If you want it on the DB. All right, we'll continue it to June 7th at 10 o'clock. Obviously, if you want to resolve it before then, I have no objection to it going on at 2:15.
Great.
All right, Justin Richardson, 21 CT 890.
Judge, this is a motion, a safe motion to obtain EMS records. The defendant, we've charged the defendant with DUI second offense. On April 11th, 2021, he was seen by EMS, which is the date of the DUI offense. The defendant was involved in a crash, and he was still he was the driver in the car and was still inside the car when CCSO arrived. They observed the defendant slumped over in the driver's seat. The car was still in drive and his foot was on the brake. They could smell an odor of alcohol coming from inside the car. When he was removed from the vehicle by EMS, the officers observed his eyes to be bloodshot and watery. When EMS asked the defendant what happened, he said that he had too much to drink tonight. When EMS was walking him to the ambulance, he had difficulty walking and appeared unsteady on his feet. So, as the court is aware, our burden and our standard is the records are relevant to a crime, and the state believes that we've met our burden.
Right, Ms. Armpriester?
Your Honor, I did file an objection in this. The only specific portion as it relates to this case that I strongly object to is the request for the discussions and conversations with the medical providers. Florida Statute 395.3025 sub 4 specifically allows disclosure of medical records, but not any extensive interviews with people's doctors or nurses. As we're all aware, patient records are confidential. They are protected by HIPAA. The records, I do believe, should be withheld, as the subpoena for the records is not a subterfuge for a warrant. However, I do believe in this case, based on the facts, as Ms. Creamy did put them on the state based on statements made by my client, that gives rise to that issue of the argument. However, I would argue against the state being allowed to request and discuss any discussions or conversations with the medical providers. I think that's more appropriate for a subpoena. I know the state's not attempting to go on a fishing expedition. However, that is my argument.
So for purposes of the record, I'm not objecting to them getting the records. I'm objecting to conversations or discussions with healthcare providers. I ask that that be done in the setting of deposition.
Well, it looks like the state is limiting its request by placing in their motion that relate to his impairment or the presence of alcohol, chemical, or controlled substances.
The order I read may not have been exactly like that. I believe it did include communication or discussions.
That relate to,
And to discuss and communicate with all medical professionals contained in said medical records or documents. So I would just ask that they get the records, but not discuss and communicate with them outside of the general.
Ms. Creamy?
The court or it's been our experience, the state's experience, that some doctors, some physicians, some medical personnel will not speak to the state if we have questions about what's in the records without a subpoena. So that's what I'm asking the court to do. I'm asking the court to not only allow us to issue the subpoena to get the physical records, but to essentially go ahead and grant us the permission to issue that subpoena to speak to those people as well. It's trying to save everybody time instead of coming back for a secondary hearing.
May I see your proposed order?
And if the state is, I understand they need that because of how some doctors are. If there's going to be any conversations, I would just ask that I be made aware and be able to be there if possible.
I think the order limits their request as requested in the motion. So I'm going to grant the state's motion for leave of court to subpoena EMS records and communicate and discuss with medical professionals related to the defendant and his treatment on or about April 11th, 2021, as it relates to the impairment or presence of alcohol, chemical, and/or controlled substances. So I'm signing the order now. All right, that brings us to Ronnie Williams, 20MM116.
Judge, Ms. Williams has complied with everything with diversion. I have my investigator confirming the community service hours. They were sent to me by Cafe of Life. That was pre the purge, and I can't get in touch with that person who sent them to me. So my investigator, as well as Ms. Williams, RJ, is trying to get me a copy of it because she turned in the original. Everything else has been turned in. This isn't Ms. Williams' fault. It's just a ripple effect of our data hack. If we could have another continuance for me to get that to the state.
Ms. Creamy?
No objection, Judge.
Where do we want to put this? On a
I
pretrial?
think 2 weeks is plenty of time. I don't think we need to put it all the way out to the next pretrial. I don't know if Your Honor has a status or.
I don't. All right, we'll set it on June 10th at 9 o'clock. All right, and then that brings us to, yep, Vicky Kutzel, 21MS89.
Who is this? It's not.
It's on the 845 document.
Judge, in that case, my case, please.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Armpriester.
Thank you.
So are you taking over this whole docket then? As well as, okay. All right, have a good weekend.
Judge, in Ms. Cutler's case, she's currently under investigation for a violation of 316.193. The state's asking the court for EMS records as well as the hospital records from Physicians Regional on or about October 3rd, 2020. I have attached an affidavit as well as a sworn statement from 2 law enforcement officers that detail essentially Ms. Cutler was driving a vehicle that crashed into a house, and when they made contact with her, she smelled of alcohol. They observed signs of impairment. She spoke with a slur at times, was slow to move. One officer, she did admit to a few drinks, then said 3 drinks. Corporal Darren administered HGN and observed it to be present. He is a drug recognition evaluator. And the defendant consented to a legal blood draw, which resulted in a BAC of 0.166 tested by a Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Ms. Cutler was aware of this motion and today's date because Ms. Rogers reached out to me and told me that an attorney from out of state reached out to her to help resolve the case. Essentially, she told me, Ms. Rogers spoke to me and said that she wasn't going to appear today. She knew that we were able to meet our burden. So I would ask the court to grant our motion.
All right, state's motion is granted. Do you have a proposed order?